All right, men, here we go. Another episode of the Leaders into Legends podcast with your host, Graham Frank Lickner. Whew, okay, been a morning. A lot of writing this morning, a lot of thinking this morning, a lot of curious questioning this morning that led me to this podcast episode called Lifelines. The point and the message of today's podcast is ultimately, how can I, as a man, recreate the cultural timelines that are in my head into personal lifelines that I can continue to explore, continue to uncover, continue to experience, and continue to make my own? Okay, so this idea of lifelines, which I'm going to continue to elaborate on is through this episode, and then eventually give you an opportunity to actually recreate your own lifelines. It was inspired last week by a session with my coach. And in the session, I had this incredible experience where I was looking through, the only words that come to me are a portal, a portal in time, right? And it started with me closing my eyes and me connecting with myself and me sitting with myself in a meditative state for like 15 minutes. And then it was some like anxious energy in my stomach. And when I went into the energy, this portal showed up and there was a man on the other side of it in the woods, and he was just looking at me. And so I had these different dialogues with him, and I asked him different questions, and I was just moving into that energy and that feeling that I was feeling in my stomach. And through that experience, it led me to this point where my ancestor, and he wasn't speaking in words, just showing me images of what life was like for him. And I know that this is really, it can be challenging to believe these things are true. And even for myself, like, was that real? Like, that's so crazy. Like, there's no way. Yet there was just something so profoundly peaceful and understanding and vivid about what I was shown. And what I was shown was this image, and I'm seeing it right now. I also have this on YouTube, so if you want to see it, I'm just closing my eyes and visualizing it. My ancestor pointed his hand up at the sky, and the moon was still out. And in that moment, he transmitted a mind without the concept of time in it. Okay, one more time. He transmitted to me in that moment a mind without the concept of time in it. Okay, why is this relevant? This is really relevant because for so many men, and for myself especially, less these days, but very early in my late teens, my early 20s, mid 20s, I had so many cultural timelines and such a strong awareness of, quote, time, that I almost like there was a sense of urgency. Like everywhere I went was like, am I using my time correctly? Like, could I be doing something more efficient? Could I be doing something better? Could I be furthering myself? This is a good use of my time. This endless flow of chatter about how I was living my life, right? And that's the interesting thing. Not how am I using my time, it's actually how am I living my life, okay? Which I have a lot more control and a lot more power over. But I just noticed that even just speaking right now, I had been giving so much of that power away to cultural timelines, to the idea of time, that I'm going to die by this point, so I have this much time at this point, this much time I have this much health, this much time I have youth, this much time I'm going to be older, this much time I should probably have a family, by this point I should be this, and that point I should do that. And now it becomes this little sing-along of all the little things in my life that are already predestined for me and I have no control over. And I just want to squash that right now. Because the most powerful thing that I have had the privilege of experiencing has been to let go of the timelines. Let go of the timelines in favor of lifelines. pursuits, passions, purpose, visions, experiences that are pulling me in the direction of joy, in the direction of peace, in the direction of personal growth, in the direction of professional achievement, in the direction of my dreams. Timelines versus lifelines. Time versus an infinite awareness, right? For a lot of you listening, I'm sure at this point the woo has somehow entered your life, and you've heard of manifestation or quantum this or spirit realm that or whatever. I don't want to bore you with those things because I don't think they're honestly as relevant as every other person wants to talk about. I think from a very simple perspective, when I was in that meditative state and I was shown a mind without the concept of time, what I saw was just infinite. What I felt was just infinite. Just this underlying awareness that every single moment is now, every single moment is present. I have the ability to do whatever I want within those moments. And in that visual, other visuals came to me, visuals of like a village dancing, like people in a village dancing, images of a hunter, me being a hunter in the forest, images of just an eternal life continuously flowing forward, the river of time just moving along, doing its thing. And it was honestly like one of the most profound things that I've ever experienced. Again, like I have reprogrammed my mind, Graham's mind, to not force myself, to not let time force my hand. Like I feel very confident that I'm moving at my pace. I'm not moving at the pace of the cultural conditioning that wants me to be married by this point and have kids by this point and do these things so that these things happen by this. No, it feels very much like I'm choosing and feeling out the pace that's actually mine. But that doesn't mean that in the back of my mind there isn't still that little time bomb, right? That little ticking clock, the little sense of extra urgency. And when I had that moment of bliss and that moment of just like, yeah, the word is infinite. It's that moment of infinite. It's just like, wow, like my ancestors, our ancestors lived without that concept in their head. Our ancestors lived without the concept of time in their head. They lived presently in what's in front of them, what's now. Understanding the nature of experience, of life. And I think this is insanely relative for a lot of you. Because I know for a lot of you, and these are guys I've worked with in sessions, these are guys that I meet, these are people that I get to experience. The cultural timelines and the idea of time has a lot of you in its grip. It's keeping a lot of you on track for what makes sense, for what seems like a good idea, for what will work. But this experience, Leaders to Legends, isn't about what will work. It's about what you want. It's about making what you want work. It's about living a life that you desire. It's about shifting, changing, and shuffling the deck so that you come out on top. You rig the game. You feel incredible in your life. And so what I want all of you to do is I just want you to close your eyes for a second. I just want you to just sit with that awareness for one moment. Just sit with the awareness of time. Like, how is my concept of time dictating my actions? How is my concept of time dictating my actions? How is it forming my life for me? How is time dictating my actions? You can pause it here. I just want you to take a minute to think about it. Because I think when you take a second to actually think about that, at the worst, you're going to go, wow, a lot. More than I thought. Interesting. Right? And again, as men, it's so important that we learn to stop and reflect. Stop and reflect. Stop and feel. You hear me say it all the time. Why? Because when we stop and reflect and stop and feel, we can actually further our thinking and understanding of complex things, simplify them, and then use them to our advantage. We break down the idea of time and how it's impacting us, which we're going to do here at the end, and we understand how we are interacting with it or how it is interacting with us. Now we can recreate our life in the image of what we want, right? So instead of time forcing us down a narrow lane or a narrow corridor in order to get what we want, we can shift and change the corridor. We can open it, we can widen it, we can have multi-levels to it. And in the process of that, we get the power back. We can start living life on our terms. We can start leading in our own way, right? I think a lot of you listening are leaders, but because you aren't living your life in the way that you know you want to in your heart, you don't feel powerful. You don't feel powerful and qualified to lead. Well, this is your message right here. We got to redefine it. We got to recreate it, restructure it, right? This is exactly what all those who you look up to are doing. They're recreating, restructuring, and rebuilding in their own vision, their own way of life, their own sight. That's what we're going to do too. So I just want to also just make this point. The more that I think about all this, the more our culture is so obsessed with time. It's so obsessed with time frames. It's so obsessed with trying to turn the clocks back to a different time when, or turn the clocks forward to when I will be, right? It's not very comfortable with what's present in the moment right now. And what's present in the moment right now is where all the power is. Your level of presence completely dictates what is going to happen in your life. All of the ideas, all of the seeds of creation are experienced, planted, and cultivated right now, in this moment. I just want you to think about that. All of the seeds of creation are born in this moment, are created in this moment, are cultivated in this moment, are grown in this moment. With the underlying awareness that our concept of time and our lack of trust in the, quote, infinites meaning you have infinite paths forward to what you want, not just one. You have infinite ways to express yourself that will make you feel good in your life, not one. There are infinite number of jobs you could do that will bring you fulfillment, money, joy, and excitement, adventure. There are infinite number of paths for you. There are an infinite number of lifelines. Lifelines. Paths in your life that you can explore, adventure, experience, and bring all the wisdom, all of the memories, all of the rewards, the riches, the joy, the emotional awareness, the experiences back to yourself. Lifelines. Lifelines versus timelines. Wow, even just saying that. Lifelines. Oof. Lifelines. When I say lifelines, I feel lifelines. I feel really cool. I feel excited. I feel like, wow, there's so much for me. When I say timelines, I feel like I have to hurry up. Like there's something coming. Yeah, man, I gotta check on those timelines. I have to make sure that I fit within the constraints of, versus lifelines. I feel the explorational energy of me. Wow, it's just so insane. I don't speak about this enough, but I want all of you to think about it just for a moment. I want you to say lifelines to yourself and see what comes to you. How does it feel in your body? And what like comes in your mind? And then I want you to say timelines. And I just want you to experience how that feels and the mental that follows. Because I think what you're going to also find is that when you can start to tune into the power of the words you speak, you're going to start to realize that redefining things is an incredibly powerful way for your mind to be free of the cultural influences that mostly hold us back from what we desire, right? And definitely held me back from what I desired for many, many years. Okay? So, lifelines versus timelines, guys. This is epic, right? And if we're to create new things, we need to be new people. We need to live off this infinite timeline that I'm talking about, right? This infinite timeline that my ancestor shared with me. And it's so weird. Honestly, it is kind of goofy. Weird. Goofy is the word, weird. sharing this with you because it is pretty intimate to me. But I just feel like it makes sense to share. And when I was in this meditative state, and for those of you who don't know what that is, I just had my eyes closed. I had been breathing for about 15 minutes. There was an energy in my stomach that just was like buzzing, and it felt like, like what is that? Like something's bothering me. And so I asked, what's bothering me? And I was eventually just shown this image. And I think it's important to note, guys, like in the work that I do as a coach, a lot of the work that I do is tapping into those the emotional energies that you are experiencing and asking them questions to actually get clarity. And through the clarity, I didn't get what I expected. I thought maybe, oh, what's going on with me? What's wrong with me? And instead I got, hey, I got this guy pointing at the sky, showing me what it felt like to not live by time, just live by life, live by everything around me. And that was powerful. So there are a lot of really important pieces of the puzzle when it comes to living a life that is unique to you, aligned with you, that feels fulfilled, that feels peaceful, feels present, feels powerful. And I think that this workshop that we're exercising, I'm about to ask you guys to do, which is just a series of questions to think about, reflect on, and write, I think can really help you to recreate your life in a way that just feels true to you. It feels powerful to you. It feels like, I'm just standing here in my office right now, but I have my feet firmly set. I feel firm. I feel firm in my body. I feel powerful in my body when I think about this. Lifelines, my lifelines, where I'm choosing to go with my life, not timelines, not where I'm feeling constrained, feeling manipulated into, feeling like I need to or have to. I just can't even begin to describe the amount of power that gives me over my own personal life, my domain, and most importantly, the ability to not be focused on something that hasn't happened yet, or worry or feel bad about what has happened because I'm not on the quote path. No, I'm actually exactly where I want to be based on what my pursuits, my interests, my goals, my visions are. And so where I want to start off is this. I want you, when you're ready, and again, this is a time for you to pull out your journal. This is a time for you to start to get into a reflective state. I just shared so much information about why I think this topic is important, but I want you to take some time here for you. So if you're in the car or whatever, find a parking spot, like pull over. Not on the highway, hopefully, well, whatever, do what you want. But pull over, like get set. If you're at home, like put your headphones in and find a quiet space. This is important to you, your development, your growth, your presence, your peace, your power, okay? This is what I want you to do when you're ready. I just want you to close your eyes. And take a nice breath. Always start with a nice breath. Why? Because our breath is directly connected to ourself and regulates our entire nervous system. It keeps us nice and aligned. And if we're going to go inward mentally, emotionally, into our heart, it's really important to start presently with the physical. Take a breath. In this first question, all I want you to do is just sit with this for a moment. Where is the illusion of time/timelines in your life constraining you or manipulating you? Where is the illusion of time/timelines in your life constraining you or manipulating you? What do I mean by that? Where in your life are you noticing that the timelines that you have on yourself are either holding you back or forcing you to do something that maybe you don't want to do, or making you feel like you need to do something in order to get something else? Where are you seeing that? Where are you feeling that? Take a pause, take a break. Think about it. Next question. What cultural timelines are you trying to fulfill and why? What cultural timelines? By this time, I need to be married. By this time, I should have my career together. By this time, I should probably have a family. By this time, I should have a house. By this time, I should have all my stuff in order. By this time, I should be, on my way out. By this time, I should be retired. What cultural timelines are you trying to fulfill and why? What cultural timelines are you trying to fulfill and why? Think about that. Wow, there's so much power in that. There are so many wrapped up in that. There are so many people wrapped up in cultural timelines. And because of that, they rush things that aren't ready. They force things that aren't wanted. And they guilt themselves into doing things they don't want to do to please people that they don't even trust or really care about. Just want you to think about that. Right here, this question. What would your life be like if you could recreate those timelines to things that you are excited about? Lifelines. What would your life be like if you could recreate those timelines to things that you are excited about? Lifelines. All I want you to do is focus on the emotional component here. Like, how would that feel? And what would your life be like if you could recreate the timelines, shift how you are operating in this world to things that you're excited about, things you feel good about, things you feel really excited about, versus things that you feel like you have to, or you're guilted to, or you're forcing. Really think about that. It's powerful here. Right? And as we make the move here, moving from timelines to lifelines, I want you to recreate them. I want you to, in your mind, just see the left side versus the right side. Left side timelines, right side lifelines. I just want you to let the timeline that you have just shift to a lifeline, right? So on the left, it might be like, I really feel like I should have my career well, like I should feel good about my career and be fulfilled in it, making money at it, and having upward potential for growth by the time that I'm like 38 or 45 or 50, whatever the number is, but just into, I feel like if I can find something that I really enjoy, and I do enjoy making music, if I can just make some more music, I would feel really great. And I think that would, I don't know, maybe open me up to something new. Maybe I would find myself in a different room or surrounded by different people. And through that process, I think that might take me to a place where I can earn the most I've ever earned because I'm the most passionate about my work. I feel really like driven. I feel excited to create that. I feel motivated automatically. I don't need to like drink coffee all day and stress myself out over that. That just feels good to me. I just want you to practice doing that, what I just did, with the different timelines that popped up for you, the different cultural timelines, and shift them into lifelines. I know you just saw what I did there. You just felt that shift. I went from, I need to think first about how this is going to fit into the timeline that I have given myself, and then I can enjoy it later, versus this is the thing that I'm inspired about right now. This is the thing I feel called to. This is the thing I want to explore. This is the adventure that I want to be a part of. And on all adventures, there's always treasure. And through that, I'm going to get treasure. I'm going to receive something that maybe is even worth more than what any timeline could ever have given me. Just want you to recreate them. You can open your eyes, hit your journal. I just want you on the left to have the timelines. On the right, start writing out the lifelines, the life paths that you are going to start following that is going to bring you more peace, more presence, more power, more joy, more excitement, more adventure, closer to your heart, a more concentrated and focused mind, more communication within yourself, more outward and more inner expression and outward expansion, more life. Leader to legend. Leaders follow timelines. They do it all the time. Legends follow lifelines, and everyone follows them. Legends follow lifelines, and everyone follows them. Legends follow their own pursuits, their own passion, their own joy, their own fulfillment, their own vision, and because they are blazing their own trail, other people want to follow. This is why we let go of timelines. This is why we fear time. Because we know that our time to explore our life is slowly dwindling. By the time we become aware enough to actually explore life, The timelines already have gripped us. They already have us in their clutches. And now we have to work. We have to find a way to get the time back so that we can go explore and adventure and be ourselves. That's not how we're operating here. We're recreating the narrative right now. You are literally recreating the narrative of your life right now. You have that power right here. You have the power to recreate it in any way you choose. Do not be afraid. Change the narrative of your life. You can pause here and take a moment to write out these new lifelines, right? To watch the transition happen. And after you've written out those, and there might be some, if you haven't, don't do this, add this too. You could have some personal ones and some professional ones. Some personal timelines that you felt you needed to, this is it. Lifelines are paths in your life you wish to explore, not obligations that need to be fulfilled. Timelines feel like obligations. Obligations to who? Ask that question. Who am I obligated to? Who do I feel so obligated to? Where I need to do these things that make me miserable. Do these things that make me so stressed beyond normal. Beyond normal. It's okay to have stress. Beyond normal stress? Up all night stress? Constantly worrying stress? Anxiety, fear, doubt, depression stress? No. Sorry, dude. No way. Life, our world is not, it's not that anymore for us. If you're listening in America, where this podcast is being recorded, it definitely isn't it. You have more power now than ever. Right? So after you write those personal ones, professional ones, and you shift them over to the lifelines, maybe again, on a column on the left is the timelines, a column on the right is the lifelines. Now underneath, I want you to write out your new lifelines and why. Right? So maybe on the right there, below, you rewrite them and why they're your lifelines. Why are these important to you? Why are these life's pursuits, these life paths, these life adventures important to you? And what do you feel like will come from pursuing them? What could come from pursuing them? What could come from pursuing your lifeline and excitement for music? What could come from your lifeline of just wanting to build a beautiful family and not feeling like you need to rush it? What would come from feeling like I want to just focus on my partner and myself? I want to get better for me, and I want to be really strong as a team, and then I feel like bringing a family into this world. Not I need to do it now just because. What would it feel like to pursue a career that's totally opposite of the timeline that you put yourself on? What would it feel like to sell your company, to move on right now? Just imagine it. Move on and do something different. Something more your alley, maybe. Something that fulfills your heart, brings you peace, makes you feel young, powerful, adventurous, never ending, makes you feel infinite. We want to feel infinite. Legends are infinite. They never die. They never go away. They are told again and again through time. In that portal, in that meditative state, when my ancestors showed me no concept of time in a mental state, I was shown that. I experienced that. For years, I have been living and recreating my own lifelines to live by, my own pursuits, my own vision, my own version of life. Mine. Through this exercise today and this conversation, you have rewritten some of yours. But don't stop here. Take this a step further and a step further and a step further and a step further. Continue to move in this direction of what is life to you. What is your version of this? How do you want your lifestyle to be? How does that fit in with your lifeline? Right? Lifeline, it's amazing. Lifeline, it's just incredible. Lifeline. If you just literally imagine a line on a piece of paper, lifeline, just following it with your finger. What are all the incredible things you can experience on the way to? What are all the amazing experiences you can have in the midst of? What are all the moments that you're going to get to experience? And how does that feel? It feels more expansive. It feels so much more open to interpretation. It feels so much more expressive. And you are a creator. You're creative, which means you can fill all the space on that page around that line, right? Versus the box that we put ourselves in. This is my life, 80 years. It's broken up into 4 little compartments. And inside those compartments are baby compartments. And inside those compartments are wow. Think about that. So many of you are living in boxes mentally, living in boxes emotionally, spiritually. Nope. Leadership Legends is about breaking out of that box, living on your edge, that line, cutting right through life in your own way, your own fashion, the way you see it, the way you feel it, the way you are it, the way you are life, your expression of life. Yeah. Lifelines. Let us not forget, yeah? Let us not forget. Somewhere, as always, near your office, in your phone, in your journal, in your bathroom in the morning, post these lifelines somewhere where you can see them. Keep them close. Be aware of them. This is you recreating your life. And for you men, you need to do it. Nothing will feel better than doing it on your own terms. You want freedom? Lifelines. Boom. You want freedom? Lifelines. You want to live inside the box? Keep whining about it. You want to live inside the box? Disregard this. In fact, don't come back to this exercise, because I know some of you are driving. Don't do it. Don't come back. Just keep doing your thing. But for those of you who are serious about making changes, do it now. Make the change. Rewrite the script. Start realizing that your mind is something that you can program what you want into it. And you can do that by asking your heart, what in life do I want to pursue because it makes me feel good? Wait for an answer. What in my life do I want to pursue because it makes me feel good? What are my lifelines? What are the areas that I'm just moving outward, expanding? Where are my areas of influence? Where are my areas of influence? Because I promise you, on that path, on that journey, you will make plenty of money. You will have unbelievable experiences. You will build an incredible family. You will have powerful friends. You will experience intimate moments. You'll have more joy, man. Have less stress. So much more peace. You'll be present for incredible, incredible days of life. And you will never experience more power. You'll never experience more power than on your own life, your own lifeline. My dudes, take this message and just continue to listen to this. Listen to this episode like many times. It's so powerful. It's so on point. It's so necessary for you to go from leader into legend. And I don't care how successful you are on paper or how successful you feel in your mind, doing this from time to time and continuing to redefine, recreate, rewrite your script, rewrite your mind and realign it, readjust it to your heart's true desire, your heart's expression, your heart's expansion, your heart's adventure is going to leave you with more moments, stories, more wealth, more relationships than you can know what to do with. I believe that with all my heart. I really do. My guys, lifelines. Be good. Be safe. Much love to you. You already know, legends find a way.